Hi, welcome to week 2 of the November kit for the Art Journal Adventure group. We are going to look at the shape prompt this week, and that is the square. So it just says draw, stamp, or find squares to use. Find objects around your house that could be used to make squares. So we're just going to stamp with squares and have fun and try it in different ways and see what we come up with. I think my main goal for this is just to make a fun background, and then anything that happens beyond that is going to be bonus. So these are the things included in our monthly kit. This might have some square type things in it that you could use maybe as your focal point to reinforce the square shape, you know, so I'll probably be using that, but I think I'm going to be using other things today to actually create my background. So, alright, so we got this a while back. This is the Simon Hurley foam stamping block, and I know some of you have really loved it and used it quite a bit, and others maybe used it a couple times, you know, as we got it, and then it just kind of is sitting around. I know I haven't used it as much as I thought I would, but not because I don't like it, but just because, you know, we all have so much stuff all the time, and sometimes I kind of forget, or I just you know, forget to bring it back out. So I'm bringing it back out today because I love it so much. I think it's super cool, and I thought it would be a fun way to make some interesting squares, stamps for a background today. So just a refresher on this, in case you forgot how to use it, you use a heat gun. So I'm going to be using, and I would say nothing too hot. Like if you have an embossing gun like a Wagner, don't use that on this. If you do, be very careful and don't do it too much, because that gets really hot, and that's like kind of for embossing powder, I mean. But if you have something like this is the Ranger Heat It tool, or something that heats a little bit, a little less hot, I guess, that's going to be the best way for you to go. Okay, so I have a couple of things here. I have an old stamp from a stamp set that is on a wooden block, and I thought maybe I could press this in to make interesting, you know, square shapes, like random here and there. I also have, you know, I'm going to use this ink, these two inks, the Kitsch Flamingo and the Prize Ribbon. I've got Prize Ribbon in Oxide, and I have Kitsch Flamingo in just the Distress ink, because I thought it might be fun to use these together. I think they would look great together. But then I was thinking, well, these are square, so this one's kind of big to fit on here, but what if I took the lid off and got just the outline, right? Or flipped it over and got the full thing like that, and that way I would like press it into it or whatever. So there's lots of different things you can do. I'm sure there's lots of squares around in your craft room if you just take a minute, walk around, have a look, or maybe even go up in your kitchen or your bathroom, anywhere there's like containers or just little things like that could be, I mean, even if it's a rectangle, like square, rectangle, something like that, would work great for this. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to heat this up, so I won't be talking for a minute, and then I'm going to be pressing into it, and we'll see what we get, okay? I'm so excited. I love this. All right, here we go. I'm going to try this on scrap paper. Let's get some here so I can see if it's even doing anything, or if I need to go deeper. I do recall from using this in the past that that you do need to kind of make a deep impression to get what you want. So this is the Kitsch Flamingo. This is just the Distress ink, and then I just spritzed it with water. Let's see what we get. We can always start over and do it again, so I love this thing. Okay, oh, that's pretty cool actually. I like that. I'm happy with what I've got. That looks pretty cool. Let's use it, okay? Let's use it because I like it a lot. I think it's going to be a cool background. Okay, yes, this is what I want to do. So I'm going to start with the Distress ink in Kitsch Flamingo and just juice this right up. I have found it works best if you spritz your block with water after you do it. Okay, and then I'm just going to start covering my background. Let's ink it up again. Man, this Kitsch Flamingo is gorgeous. You could put spray on here too. It doesn't have to be an ink pad. I'm trying to change the direction of the squares a little bit. Well, that's fun. That's getting a little bit more watercolory. Okay, so let's go here. I'm just going to try to do halfway. That's awesome. I love this. This is super fun. And you know you're going to get a unique background every time. I love the squares here. I think I'm done with this pattern. I'm going to wipe this off. Okay, so let's put this up here for a minute so I can be center stage there. And I'm going to wipe this off really good so that, I think I'm done using this actually, but I have an idea to make more squares. But I just wanted to get this back out and remind you guys, if you haven't used it in a while, you should, because it's super fun. And then I'm going to release this shape. Remember, we just reheat it, and it releases the shape that you had impressed in there. Okay. Alright, so that's good. The Kitsch Flamingo is done. I definitely want to outline these squares. I think that'll be fun. So another thing I want to try is to take the oxide and dip it into itself. And let's see if we can get a cool like outline of a square. So I'm just taking around the edges of the lid. Okay, edges of the lid, and I'm just going to go here and there. Yes, that's perfect. So if you have any, I think this will work better with the oxide than the regular, but we'll try both just for fun, just to see. Yeah, oh my gosh. Is this not the coolest? Yes, this is fantastic. Okay, I love it so much. I'm just going to put one more up here. That's amazing. And I love the contrast of the blue versus the pink. I think that looks great. Very nice. Oh, that's awesome. I just want it on the edge like this, all over, like it's infiltrating, but leaving this space open for my focal point. So now I'm just going to wipe the edge just so it doesn't cause trouble, like get my fingers inky next time I try to use this, you know. I think just for fun though, because I don't know how it will work. I knew it would work with oxide because oxide is a pigment. It's got that pigment in it, so it's going to be more opaque and just hang out better. But let's try it with the Distress ink too and see if we can get. We'll just even do a corner bit, and let's see if we get anything. A little bit. Let me. Let's try it on this page, okay? Because I kind of like the way my page is. I don't want this to be on that page, but I do want to see if this works. Yeah, it does work. Yes, so you can definitely use your square Distress ink pads, even if you have the small cubes. Either one will work great. The lids, and if you really wanted, I don't know if you'd want to ink up, you know, this side, but you could if you wanted to and make a solid square. Okay, I kind of am in love with this. Let's dry it real fast, make sure that oxide is nice and dry. Alright, so I'm just going to use one of my favorite pastel Pitt pens. This is dry enough for me to be able to play over top of it a little bit. The oxide is not totally dry, and I did just smudge a little bit there, so I'm going to be careful. But I just want to make some little doodles here and there. And so you could use your Posca pens, you could use any of your acrylic paint pens, whatever you have. You can use the Faber-Castell Pitt pens that I put in another kit for you. Whatever you want to do. If you want to do a little doodling, you can do that. So let's see. And I'm kind of just going, like I'm making an outline around the edge of this, just to give it kind of a border. And I'm doing like squiggly line doodles and little dots. But, you know, you can do this however you want. You don't have to doodle at all. You could just do the stamping. I think either way, it's great. Sometimes just adding a little extra detail is fun. So now I'm going to go back over those lines and I'm going to kind of cross them a little bit. So, I don't know, it just looks a little bit more like haphazard and kind of fun. Okay. So this is just what I'm choosing to do here because it's fun and I just want to play. No reason, just for fun. And I want to see how it looks. Maybe I like this technique and I'm going to use it later. Maybe I'm like, that did really not go the way I planned. I either need to practice it more or do something different. But I think it looks pretty cool. It flows your eyes around, you know, up the page, and it kind of separates that section. I think that looks really cool. Okay, so now honestly, I think I just want a quote, like some nice big thing, or maybe a couple to go all the way down here. I'm not sure exactly. We're gonna see what we find. I definitely want something from the black section of it because, like from the black background, because that's gonna really stand out on this bright page. It says, when everything is unsure, the possibilities are endless. I really love that. Let's start with that. And it also has, well, they're kind of rectangle-ish, but squarish rectangle. It goes with our theme, and it looks very cool. I'm going to grab some smaller scissors here, and I'm going to cut every word. And I'm just going to like kind of place it where I want, but not really stick it down. You can, when you're working with these pads, you can just stick it down, especially if you're in your journal. It's probably going to be fine, not really go anywhere. But if you were doing like some other kind of piece, I would say definitely use some matte medium or some other kind of adhesive to make sure it's going to stay in place. But you could also do that in your journal too. It really just depends on what you're comfortable with. Your art journal, you know, it's going to be shut most of the time unless you're working in it or looking at it. But so it should be fine. But sometimes these sticker books don't, you know, they don't hold up so well over time as far as the stickiness of them. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else I want to add. I kind of like the simplicity of this one. Sometimes our pages are simple and pretty, and sometimes our pages are busy and pretty. Ooh, okay, I like this arrow. Which arrow? Which arrow? Okay, let's try this one and see what we think. I love this this set of sticky quotes because it's not just words. I love that there's words in different fonts and all of that, but there's also some images too, which are really cool. Ooh, I love that frame. That's nice. Okay, maybe I want to do this. Nope, I think I want it to stay here. So this is the other reason I don't stick it all the way down, because sometimes I want to change my mind about the placement of things too. And this is a great time to just sort of play with it and figure out what makes sense. Where do I want it? What's going to look good for my layout? Let's see. If I have this coming off of this guy, you know, is he too big? Does it look weird? Is it stupid? Oops. Now he's got blue on him, so I kind of have to use it, don't I? Okay, I'm going to do it this way because I want to... And do I want that arrow pointing down to it, or do I want the arrow pointing up? I think I like it down. I think I like it right where it is, and I'll cut that tip off. See how it's not sticking, though, all the way? My fingers are so dirty. Okay, so I like this mostly. So I'm going to stick these down, and they don't have to be evenly spaced. Whoop, whoop, whoop. They can be a little crooked, you know, whatever feels good for you. That's what you should do. And remember, this was just 2 straight lines that, oh, Kassy, I'm making a mess here. I'm bummed out about that because I was really liking the simplicity of that blue on there. Okay, so that oxide just was not dry. That's okay. It's just my journal, but now I know. Dry the oxide. Okay, so I think I'm done here. I like the arrow. I like the, should I have something at the bottom though? Let's see if there's anything else that speaks to me to put on the bottom. Okay, let's have a little heart down here. Just one tiny little heart. That'll be pretty, and then I think I'm definitely going to be done. And it's going to go at the bottom here. Oops. So if you're doing this with the oxide, just make sure that you're careful and you're not smudging and getting your hands all, oh, I don't care about my hands dirty, but smudging part I don't appreciate. Okay, I love this. I love that it's simple and that we've used squares in different ways. We've got squares in the background, kind of funky. We used our awesome stamping block from Simon Hurley, and then we made really cool stamp out of our Distress Oxide lid. So very cool. So just be careful of this. I love the color combo too, the blue and the pink. I don't always put blue and pink together, but I think it worked out great. So, all right, that is our project for this week. This is the square prompt, and I can't wait to see your square prompt. Get creative, look for cool, different square type things around your house and figure out how you can use them as a stamp for either your background or your focal point. I can't wait to see them, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye. Okay, I just had to come back. This is like a PS moment. I had to come back and give you one little tip. I decided I would try to just get a paintbrush and some water and see if I could get rid of some of these blue little splotches that decided to show up because I wasn't careful enough. They were kind of bugging me, and I really love this page and I didn't want it to have those. So I'm just, let me get a baby wipe here. I just got my water out. I've got a paintbrush that's clean, and now I'm going to use baby wipe, I think, to try. But anyway, it's not perfect, but it at least minimizes the, it kind of erases them a little bit. And it just helps to like take the focus away from those things. And so I thought, maybe if you have the same issue or whatever, I mean, I just like sharing tips and things I figure out with you guys in case you ever run into the same problem. So that is my tip. I am just going around, I'm trying to erase some of those little blue splotchy areas that I was not excited about. And then, since you're here, I might do my next step and see if it works. It might be a horrible disaster, but we're about to find out. So the next thing is, now I've got these spots where there's a little tiny bit of blue. It's hard to see. Let me show you up close. I mean, I mostly cleaned up that mess, but I'm feeling like, I could add a little bit of pink back in to try to cover it up a little bit more. So I'm actually going to try my paintbrush, and I'm just dipping it on my ink pad. Look it, and I'm painting. I'm painting like a watercolor. It's working beautifully. So here we go. Here is a good hack for you if somehow you do like I did and your oxide isn't dry or ink or whatever you're doing, and you get some smudges here and there, you can definitely go clean them up. Get some water and a clean, very clean paintbrush. That's important. And then you can take your ink and go back over it. And it's definitely not exactly the way it was before, but man, it does look a lot better, I think. And it does, you can even just smush like this. You don't have to paint. And you could also, put this ink on your glass mat or your whatever you're working on your surface. But why not just dip the paintbrush right on the ink pad? I just wanted to show you this because, I thought, well, other people might experience this at some point. And even if you have an area where you're like, you did it the way we did here and everything was great, but then you're like, you know what, I just don't like the way that turned out and I kind of want to just change it a little bit. You can definitely do that. You just take your paintbrush, lift up, pick up some of that ink and make it look however you want to make it look. This is your art and you get to do whatever you want with it. So there's a little hack for you. I hope that helps if you ever are in a similar situation or you just want to add a little bit of extra ink somewhere. Grab a clean, this is a small like detail paintbrush, and have a go. And I think it looks a lot better now. Check that out. So there you go. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.